Hi, I'm Mark McCready, Mayor for the City of Longview. In this edition of Longview Snapshots, we will focus on public safety and the services that our police and fire departments offer to the community. Maybe you've been wondering what you can do to protect yourself against crime, or would like to take a closer look at some equipment, or find out why firemen wear red suspenders. Today we are going to answer those and other questions about how our police and fire departments furnish public safety services to our citizens. From parking enforcement to SWAT teams, fighting fires to emergency medical response, today we're cruising with the cops and following the firemen to help you get a better understanding of the workings of these two great departments. I hope that you'll find some information here today that you can use to better protect yourself against crime and keep your home safe. Be sure to watch for cameo appearances by Crime Dog McGruff and fire mascot Sparky in today's show. Buckle up your seatbelt, pull the pin on your fire extinguisher, and let's get started, because this is going to be a hot one.
Hi, I'm John Bricky, your host for today's Longview Snapshots. As Mayor McCready just said, today's program will look at the public safety services that are supplied to you by our police and firefighters. The first half of our program will look at the various types of police services that operate within the city, as well as some valuable crime prevention tips. And in the second half of our show, we'll view the day-to-day activities of firefighters while on duty. But first, let's take a look at the backbone of any police department, its patrol division. Those men and women in marked patrol cars out there helping to keep our streets safe 24 hours a day. Can you believe that our police officers respond to 35,000 calls per year, an average of 1 call per hour per officer in Longview? Check out the different ways that our Longview Police Department responds to those calls for help by folks in our community. Well, thanks, McGruff. Great return.
Everyone starts out in patrol when they're hired in the police department. There's different divisions, detectives, investigative, undercover units, traffic units, but you start out in patrol. I've been here 3 years, and this is just where you start out and move your way up from there. I'm in law enforcement just because it's a passion I've always had and something I like to do. What do I like the most about my job? It's you're out here and you report to the sergeant and there's a chain of command, but you're your own individual out here and you handle calls, and every officer's different. Every scenario is different, every call is different. You have to play the call out in your mind before you get there. Crime's different in each area, but the call load's about the same. And think of every option possible before you arrive on scene so you're prepared for anything that might happen. Vehicle prone, theft, vehicle prone, vehicle prone. 3 7. You gotta drive your area, check everything out. The most important result is finding a solution to the situation that you're posed with. If it's getting somebody's property back in a theft, or helping someone on a medical call, or putting someone in jail that needs to go to jail. Whatever the situation is, just finding a conclusion to that. She bought her vehicle in February and she hasn't registered it in the state of Washington yet, so that is a criminal offense.
Longview Police Department utilizes a number of ways to police the community, and one of them is on bicycles. Over 20 officers have been trained for bike patrol.
The reason we do bike patrol in the Longview Police Department is to have closer contact with the community and so people approach us. It's just a nice break from the patrol car. And you can go to places, you can drive and ride places that you can't drive a car. When I'm on a bike, people approach me and talk to me. It's interesting, some people think you can't do police work on a bike, and I've done police work on a bike. I've arrested driving while suspended people. It's just a matter of how you set yourself up. you can see crimes occurring in your presence without them knowing you're a police officer until the last minute, so it's kind of nice that way. And just like a motorcycle, it's a little different. You don't ride as fast on a bike as a motorcycle, but you can get there. I've responded to calls faster than a vehicle that's way out on the west end of Longview, down in the Highlands area. I got there quicker even though I was, you know, a mile away. I'm still a police officer. I'm not just someone riding around on a bike. As long as you're a friendly police officer or someone that can be approached, it's good PR. But it's also good police work.
Everyone has been pulled over for speeding at one time or another. That was a fast one. In our first word on the street, we ask you what your best excuse for getting pulled over was. Here's what you confessed.
My girlfriend's foot slipped off of mine and hit the gas pedal, and therefore we went through a red light.
Somebody got in front of me. The last good excuse was that I was listening to the final moments of a Mark Morris, R.A. Long basketball game. And I did get a little excited coming in from the highway on Tennant Way, and I was going a little fast. I got out of it.
Late.
One of the biggest calls for police services in Longview is traffic accidents. In an effort to reduce accidents and improve the safety of our citizens on the streets of Longview, the traffic division was created, manned by 2 motorcycle cops. Move over, Chips. Our traffic cops have your number.
I'm in the traffic unit, number one, because of my motorcycle skills. I've been a motorcycle rider and racer for over 30 years. And secondly, I enjoy the traffic aspect of law enforcement. I enjoy helping the injured in accidents or keeping this intersection safe, and I enjoy that particular type of law enforcement. In the traffic unit, we typically respond to 2 types of calls. One is traffic accidents and the other is traffic complaints. The motorcycles offer benefits that cars don't. They are able to get through traffic a little quicker and easier, especially if the traffic is congested. They're also a need to have, like in leading parades or community service things, because they're different, you know, or we all have cars, but we don't all have motorcycles. And secondly, they're also a little more concealable, i.e. if we're pulled alongside the road running some radar, they're a little harder to see. And we're the only law enforcement agency in Cowles County that has motorcycles.
Our parking enforcement officers speak softly but carry a big boot. A Denver boot, to be exact. This is a tool that is used to mobilize a vehicle that has exceeded its parking infraction limits. Watch high and low for posted signs. Be familiar with the regulations where you park. And remember, if you don't pay your tickets, they won't go away.
What parking enforcement does is we're downtown, primarily downtown. We just ensure that there's enough parking for customers and people shopping downtown or going to doctor's appointments, things like that. Parking enforcement is done 3 ways downtown. We can walk, we can drive what we call Go, they're a little 3-wheeled scooter, and then we also have bikes that we can ride downtown. We work 8 to 5 schedule Monday through Friday, and go around. We put chocks on people's tires, the time limits, and if we come back and the chalk's still there, the car gets a ticket. That's pretty much the gist of it downtown. Like I said, school zones, we just go look for people parking in crosswalks, the yellow zones, fire hydrants. And if you do park in a school zone, you will get a ticket. We do that all over the city. We help out the community service officers and the patrol officers so they can free up their time to go do real police work, so to speak. One thing with parking tickets is most people don't realize is they will not just go away. Fortunately, parking tickets are just like speeding tickets, not wearing your seatbelt tickets. They're all the same. They're a notice of infractions, so it's not a good idea to ignore tickets.
Police respond to thousands of calls a year, many related to felony crimes. For our next word on the street, we ask residents if they'd ever been the victim of a crime. Here's what they said.
Can't say as I have.
No.
No.
My guess is Colonel Mustard by the lake bank with a stick. More than 25 million Americans are victims of crime each year. The city's detective division has a team of 4 detectives, a detective sergeant, and a civilian investigator that follow up on serious felonies such as murder, rape, sex crimes, property crimes, and robberies. They are a dedicated group of individuals who wear out a lot of shoe leather to catch criminals and bring them to justice.
You figure we have a population of 35,000 roughly in the city of Longview. We handle approximately 35,000 calls a year in the city of Longview for the police department. And that being said, any felonies, if they need to follow up on, our investigation unit follows up on it. So our detectives, on an average, carry anywhere from 25 to 50 cases on their desk at one time. As a detective sergeant, what I do is I look at all the reports that have been taken the day before I come in and read them all, determine whether there's investigations that need to be done that are felony cases. That's what we work. And then I assign them to a detective to do the follow-up on what's needed to be done.
Longview, please. Open the door. We have a search warrant. To Longview Police Department, we have a search warrant.
What's the most important result of the work I do? Successful prosecution on guilty people and successful clearance of innocent people. It's rewarding both ways because then you've done your job right. I have 5 detectives and I have a civilian employee who's an investigator who does a lot of investigations on the child sex offense. I have one detective that is specifically assigned to identity theft or embezzlements and frauds. And he'll work on major cases like homicides and arsons and robberies and things like that. And we all work together when it's a major crime. We drop everything we're doing. If it's a homicide, we get involved with our street crimes unit, which is our drug unit, basically. It's just like anything else. It's a job that's different every day.
One of the most serious crimes in our community is the drug epidemic. For you? If you're a criminal thinking about using or dealing drugs in Longview, sooner or later you're going to meet up with the Street Crimes Unit or the Narcotics Task Force.
The drug problem within Cowlitz County and Longview specifically has consistently been identified by our tax-paying citizens as being the #1 problem in our community. Right now, if I were to narrow that even further, it would be the methamphetamine problem that we have. The Narcotics Task Force and our local street crimes unit with Longview Police work hand in glove on a daily basis. They are able to augment one another. They're able to work cohesively and collaboratively together on certain investigations. And the difference between the 2 units are the task force operating at the higher level dealers, the level 1 and level 2 dealers typically involve a greater geographical area, whereas the street crimes officers will focus their efforts at the lower level, user, consumer, buyer, seller, the hand-to-hand buys at the street corner kind of thing. And most of their activities are focused in the Longview-Kelso area. More and more, as our community, as the citizens of our community read the newspaper or hear radio sound bites on drug cases, commonly they will see where it was a multiple agency, multiple unit kind of an investigation and response. The ultimate goal is to improve the livability in our community. As a captain at the Longview Police Department, I've been blessed with being the commander of the Narcotics Task Force, the commander of our Street Crimes Unit. I'm also the commander of our local SWAT team. And I'm telling you, I've never met a group in all of those areas that are any more professional and are totally committed to their jobs. And the community ought to feel some sense of pride in who they have wearing the badge out there doing those jobs.
Got you covered. Our regional SWAT team is the ultimate protection unit for our community. The team has been used over 40 times in the past 7 years. This team is highly trained in the use of special weapons and tactics for handling high-risk situations. SWAT is who the cops call when the cops need help.
Well, the bottom line about SWAT operations or tactical operations
is that SWAT officers are who the police department calls when the police department needs officers. A typical SWAT call is not typical for law enforcement in general. SWAT is usually a worst of the worst kind of situation. So what generally goes through my mind when we get a SWAT call is what kind of incident we are going to, whether it's a barricaded suspect or a hostage rescue or a high-risk search warrant. Generally speaking, the thoughts that go through my mind are the safety of the officers and the citizens who are involved in the incident and what we can do to resolve it when we get there. And the bottom line about SWAT is saving lives. Everybody on the department who's involved in the SWAT team has an additional assignment, either patrol or detectives or street crimes unit or narcotics task force. The SWAT assignment is an add-on assignment. Everybody who does it trains every month, often on their own time, and they are expected to maintain expertise in a variety of areas that are in addition to what their regular assignment is. Since May of 2004, the Longview Police Tactical Response Team has been renamed and is now known as the Lower Columbia SWAT Team. Formerly, we were a single agency unit made up strictly of Longview police officers. Since May, we have taken on officers from the Kelso Police Department, Cowlitz County Sheriff's Department, and in addition, we have paramedics with Cowlitz 2 Fire and Rescue. We are now responsible for tactical operations and SWAT call-outs in the entire county.
Police officers face a number of risks in the field every day and have a variety of weapons available to protect citizens themselves during an incident. From pepper spray to tasers to rifles, the cops have us covered.
Okay, the first item that we use is OC or pepper spray, commonly referred to. We carry this on our belts, and this item is sprayed in the subject's face to hopefully gain compliance. The next item that we would try to employ would be the taser. And there again, this is a device that shoots out 2 probes that make contact with the subject's body and hopefully gains their compliance through electricity and voltage. The next items that we would probably go to would be the nightsticks, and I have 2 different kinds here, one made of wood, one made of metal, and again, these are carried on our belts. The next item that we would probably go to would be the pepper ball gun, and this weapon uses compressed air to fire out pepper spray, but in a powder form out through the barrel. I'm gonna kill you! It's almost kind of like a paintball gun if you're familiar with anything like that. The next item that we would use would be the beanbag shotgun, and again, this gun is painted orange so that we know that it only shoots a beanbag rounds, and again, that's a less lethal option for us. After our less lethal options, we then go to deadly force, and most of all our officers are carrying the Glock pistol, which is a .40 caliber pistol. Again, that's carried on the belt. We have the shotgun, which is both carrying double-aught buck and rifled slugs. Lastly, our officers also, in our cars, we carry the .223 caliber rifle, the AR-15 rifle. And again, these last 3 items are lethal force.
Many times, officers are required to use defensive tactics instead of weapons to protect themselves or a perpetrator. Wow! Let's hear what one of the LPD defensive tactics instructors has to say.
Defensive tactics for law enforcement, it's not as in-depth as the martial arts and fighting skills. It's more of a general purpose for law enforcement to deal with specific instances. You know, where we arrest people. It can be applied by a wide variety of officers from, 6'6" to, 4'6". Different situations. They're not highly skilled. They're not martial artists. The Bruce Lees. These are just commonsensical tactics used by the police to arrest, take people into custody, or deal with, violent situations that we frequently run into.
If you're a bad guy hoping to elude police, you better think twice. Police canines Bruno or Reno could be hot on your trail.
The best part about working with Bruno, and the most important part of what we do as a team, is the fact that we get the opportunity to catch suspects in crimes that would otherwise escape custody. Up to this point in Bruno's career, he's found almost 90 suspects that would have escaped police apprehension, and he's had over 100 narcotics finds as well. He has two jobs, one narcotics detection and the other one apprehension work, and each of them requires different equipment, and it also requires different commands for him to do the job. Bruno also, like us, has a ballistic vest, so I have to take the time to stop and put it on as well. I do this particular job because I think it's the best job in law enforcement. Having a partner like Bruno to work with all the time, knowing that my backup officer is just as far as the back seat of my car, and knowing that he's there and that his primary job is to keep an eye on me and keep me safe is very comforting in doing this job. Bruno is with me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. He comes home with me. He has his own assigned car that he gets to ride in all the time, and it goes to and from home with us as well, because we're on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Bruno lives with my wife and my 12-year-old son, and him and Bruno are best buds, and he's like a pet when he's at home, but when he sees me get into uniform and head for the car, he turns all business.
The School Officer Program is a unique and successful partnership between Longview Police Department and the school district that focuses on preventing and curbing juvenile crime. Two school officers work closely with teachers and staff and spend time getting to know students at R.A. Long, Mark Morris, and other schools.
Officer Kaczynski.
I became a police officer, I would say typically for most reasons the police officers are what they are. I enjoy helping people, I enjoy being out there. The reason I picked the schools is because I do like working with kids. It's a lot of fun. It's a change. It can be a challenge sometimes. Someone needs you, you'll be able to help them, or just be there to talk to them. I do a lot of this here at school.
There's no parking spots left on the street.
Well, because they're called visitors, and you're not a visitor, right?
Yeah.
You're a student here,
yeah.
So it's to be going on its 10th year that we've had school officers here next year, and it's just fabulous. It really is, and it has got to be the most successful program we have, interagency program we have between the police department and another agency, and it's really a team effort. It really is, and so and it's great to be a piece of that, to be a part of that. So I think that the most important result is just when a kid comes up to you and says, "Hey, thanks a lot." I had a couple kids that just graduated that, 4 years ago, man, there was just no way. Maybe in just a small part, you help that happen, and then they come up to you afterwards, "Hey, thanks a lot. I really remember when you busted me back then. That was a turning point in my life."
Since 1980, McGruff, the crime dog, has been educating us about the need to actively participate in crime prevention efforts. Because of these messages, today more than 3 out of 4 Americans believe they personally can take actions to reduce crime. The best way you can help is to become actively involved in local crime prevention efforts, such as Block Watch, National Night Out, Alligators, or simply volunteering your time at the Highlands Satellite Office. Got something for me there, McGruff? Thank you very much. Block Watch.
The Highland Police Satellite Office was first opened to serve the residents of the Highland area, an area receiving a large number of calls for service. The office is a substation that is open to take police calls and assist the public in such things as free bike registration or answering police-related questions. Volunteers perform many important and confidential duties for the department and save the community thousands of dollars a year. There are many ways citizens can volunteer, from being a police reserve to serving as an alligator or providing valuable information through the CPAT program.
Residents can also help take a bite out of crime by becoming an alligator or a police reserve.
Another way you can volunteer is through the Alligators, a group of volunteers that patrol the community watching for suspicious activity. We call them the eyes and ears of Longview. This dedicated group puts in a lot of hours to watch over the alleys, parking lots, and streets of our county. To become an alligator, you must attend the annual Citizens Police Academy and receive specific other training. Longview Police Reserves is a voluntary program with Longview Police that is used to assist the commissioned Longview officers with their duties. Reserves receive department training and assist at community events such as Go Forth, the annual car cruise, Christmas parade, and other activities as needed. To become a reserve officer with Longview Police, you need to have a clear background, attend the annual training, pass a psychological exam, and computerized voice stress analyzer test. You will perform a minimum number of patrol hours per month.
A big focus for the satellite office is crime prevention.
Crime prevention is up to the citizens of any community. The best way to protect yourself and your family is to band together and form a block watch program. Block Watch is a program designed to encourage neighbors to get to know one another and to learn what to watch for in criminal activity. Local law enforcement provides training in ways to reduce neighborhood crime. The Longview Police Department is heavily involved in Block Watch and constantly searches for new neighborhoods to introduce to a prevention philosophy. Our police department also provides Block Watch signs to be posted in participating neighborhoods. It's simple to start a Block Watch group. Just call the satellite office at 442-5850 and we can get you started.
Citizens can also actively participate in the crime prevention activities like National Night Out, a nationwide event held the first Tuesday in August. Here's retired Police Chief Bob Bergreen to tell us more about National Night Out.
National Night Out is a function that we have been celebrating here in Longview for a number of years now. And our satellite office in the Highlands coordinates activities. We encourage all of Longview citizens to get involved in National Night Out. And it's basically get to know your neighbors, the first Tuesday of August every year. I've gone around together with the mayor and a number of council members to each of these Block Watch parties and community parties where we encourage people to get to know each other so you can better protect your neighborhood. The police can't be everywhere, and we have 35,000 people to protect. Sure is a help to us if you can watch out for one another, and then when the bad guy shows up in your community, call us before they have a chance to do something bad.
There are many things that you can do to reduce the chances of becoming a victim of crime. Here are some helpful tips about identity theft, recognizing a meth house, vehicle prowls, and home security.
There are some very simple steps you can take to prevent identity theft. Shred all documents with any personal information on them. Never leave anything in your car with any personal information. Do not carry your Social Security card in your wallet or purse, and take only the credit cards you need with you when you go out. If you think you have a meth house in your neighborhood or a drug house, here are some simple things you can look for. Brief and constant traffic in and out of the house or apartment. Strange odors and an unusual amount of empty containers strewn about. Unkempt appearance of residents and surroundings, such as windows covered with blankets. To avoid being a target for vehicle prowls, here are a few steps you can take. Do not leave anything in your car, anything. If you have a garage, use it. Have plenty of lighting at night and cultivate good neighbor relationships. Security at home is a real simple process. It's basically getting to know your neighbors. Learn to design the outside of your home to discourage criminal activity. Learn how to properly secure your home and teach your children to be safe. So do your part. Take a bite out of crime.
Longview Police Department's efforts to help keep citizens safe can only be rivaled by the Longview Fire Department's on-duty firefighters' daily activities. 39 firefighters respond to calls for assistance in an area over 12 square miles. We spent some time with firefighter Lieutenant Blake Tomlinson to become more educated about the vital community service that they provide and what daily challenges are presented while on duty, whether responding to fire calls or medical assistance.
I'm a firefighter because I love to help people. When someone calls 911, they're having the worst day of their life. Someone is dying, they're hurt, and they call 911 and they want somebody to help them. And that's what we do when we show up. We can make that kind of an immediate difference in someone's life, and that's really at the heart of what we do. This department, it's small. We have 3 companies. We have 2 engine companies and a ladder company, and we run over 5,000 calls a year, and that's pretty busy.
We have a general fire alarm, 2930 Ocean Beach Highway.
The most common type of call is an emergency medical call. We're about 75% of our calls. If you look at that 5,000 call per year number, about 75% of those are EMS, emergency medical service, and they range from anything from a cut finger to a full cardiac arrest. We are a basic life support department, so we respond out on every 911 call, and then an ambulance, which has a paramedic staff, arrives, and together we make up a system of advanced life support and basic life support. And then we get into maybe 20% of our calls are fire-related, and then we have an assortment of miscellaneous calls. We've had rescues, elevated rescues, where we have to send our platform up and get someone off of a building. We might have a hazardous materials incident where a chemical's been spilled. We're starting to get into confined space rescue, where people might get trapped inside vessels and tanks and confined spaces. And so that probably makes up about 5% of our business. The unusual calls are the ones that get the adrenaline going the most, and those are the fires that are in dangerous parts of the city, perhaps a violent EMS call, a shooting or an assault, bigger emergency things we don't see all the time, like a fire in a commercial building or an apartment complex, or is this something that is unusual and is going to get me or my crew hurt? I want to make sure that I come home and my crew comes home. During the day, we do everything from maintain and clean our equipment and our station. We have a lot of training that we have to complete. We do a lot of prevention activities. That's where we go out and we inspect businesses. We do public education programs. And we have to do things, other types of work to keep ourselves prepared, but it's really that 911 call is what we're really all about. You know, people always ask, hey, do you ever rescue cats stuck in trees? And to be honest, we get phone calls about that from time to time. And no, we do not go and rescue cats that are in trees. And our response is, have you ever seen a cat skeleton up in a tree? And the answer is no, cats will come down. You know, the difference between being an administrator and being on the line like I am is we do get to go out the door and hit the lights and sirens and show up, and it can be total chaos. In the middle of the night, when there's fire pouring out of a building and there's somebody that's trapped inside, and it comes down to me, I have to make some decisions and help those people and make sure that my crew's safe and getting the job done. And it's probably the most intense adrenaline rush you could have. And I love it. I mean, I hope to be doing this when I'm 50, and it's great.
Fire prevention education is a major focus for the fire department. Education about fire safety is provided for every age group, from child to senior. For our last word on the street, we took an opportunity to visit with locals about a burning question. Why do firefighters wear red suspenders? Here's what they said.
To keep their pants up. I thought they wore belts.
Probably just to show off.
I don't even know what a suspender is, so they don't have to wear a belt. To keep their pants up.
Here's Lieutenant Blake Tomlinson to tell us more about fire prevention.
Fire prevention is a significant part of our business here at Longview Fire Department. The division is headed by the fire marshal and is supported by the various engine and truck companies. Part of the division's mission is to perform annual fire and life safety inspections. And to do this, we go into the commercial businesses, we go into churches, schools, and medical facilities and ensure that the occupancies are following international fire codes.
The goals of the Fire Prevention Division are to, number one, prevent fires from happening. Number two, if they do happen, minimize the effects of the fire and minimize injuries to firefighters as they're fighting the fires. Ways that that's accomplished are through public education, new construction reviews and inspections for fire and life safety code issues, existing occupancy inspections, and our fire investigation program.
Another important piece of our fire prevention program is public education. Our main target audience is young children. We teach concepts such as stop, drop, and roll, emergency home escape drills, staying away from matches, and when it's appropriate to call 911. We also work closely with adults, and we teach them things like fire extinguisher training, home safety, and also fire escape planning for the entire family. There is one public safety concern we can't stress enough, and that is to please pull over to the right and stop when you see fire apparatus approaching. No matter which direction we're coming from, it's the law that vehicles pull over and stop. And even if you're in the left turn lane and we're coming up behind you, we want you to move over to the right. Also, if we're parked in the street and we're working during an incident, whether it's a fire call or an emergency medical event, find another way to get to your destination. Trying to squeeze through a fire or medical incident to save a few minutes endangers you, your vehicle, firefighters, and especially those we are called upon to help. Thanks.
Hey, this is Truck 81. Thanks for watching.
The backbone of public safety response is the 911 Center, which receives calls for fire, police, sheriff, deputies, and EMS. In 2003, the 911 Communications Center dispatched Longview Police to over 35,000 calls and Longview Fire to almost 5,000. Total calls dispatched annually is over 82,000. Police and fire work together from time to time. The most active partnership between fire and police services is the Fire Investigations Unit. Fire investigators work together with police detectives in determining causes of fires which may be suspicious in nature and interrogating and collecting evidence. The City of Longview and Cowlitz County's law enforcement and fire agencies also work together. Jointly, they work through our state's Office of Homeland Security to plan for strategic response, to train firefighters and police officers to be prepared for their response to a terrorist incident and any other major event that would call for similar resources. Another cooperative venture is the Area Emergency Coordinating Center, or the ACC. This is a local emergency command station that can be activated when a major event overwhelms our local police or fire resources. This is ACC Incident Command. Yes, this is McDaniel. Yes, we are activated. We are on board. We're ready to operate. The center is staffed by specially trained personnel from local fire, police, and public works agencies. The ACC staff maintains direct contact with the county's Department of Emergency Management should state and federal assistance be needed. The ACC may also be activated before an event if circumstances indicate there may be a need, such as potential flooding, severe storms, or a possible seismic event.
We hope that we've given you some useful information about the valuable services provided by our public safety employees. You know that help is just a phone call away. Remember, in an emergency, dial 911. If you'd like more information about our police or fire services, please visit us online at www.mylongview.com. Well, that's about it for today's program. Be sure to join us again soon for another Longview Snapshots. Come on, Sparky. Come on, McGruff. See you later. Officers are required to use defensive tactics.
Yeah, blah, blah, blah.
Time for...
Woohoo! We got a blooper.
Okay.
Who wear a lot of shoe leather out.
Darn buses. We should all just drive them in Hondas.
To cut. I was going so good for a while there.
What do you want to say, John?
I don't think he's going to say anything. Sorry.
With a special guest appearance by Crime Dog McGruff.
Start over again. You're going to be busy with me.
There are many things that you can do to reduce.
Why do firefighters wear red suspenders?
Trick question?
Maybe.
I don't know. Why do firefighters wear red suspenders?
There you go right there. Oh my God, now I'm getting creeped out.
Just a second.
I saw that. That's a blooper. Oh,
I thought it was a bee.
I can't read it. Help! Let me out! Let me out! Oh, that's not the SWAT you meant, was it?
One of the traditions we have here is that if you get your picture in the paper, you have to buy ice cream for the crew. And so I have no idea what will happen when this thing gets aired. I'll be buying ice cream for a year.
Oh, can you hear me?
Unit or the NASCAR or the NASCAR unit or the narcotic crimes unit or the narcotics